because he called into question these regulations, these state regulations, unless there's a rational basis for it. If there's no statistic that there's a problem, then you can't do state health, safety, and welfare regulations. Oh, really? I mean, the NRA was very happy today because suddenly it became clear to the NRA that Justice Breyer believes that if you have to have an anti-gun regulation, it better have a nexus, a relationship to some kind of statistical problem.
Oh, I love this.
And how about the environmentalists? They're constantly spewing out regulations on farmers, miners, and everybody else.
Right.
When there's no showing there's a problem. In most cases, they can't come up with a problem. It's just that, well, something might happen. There might be a spill. There might be a pollution. There might be... All those things have been used to justify regulations from the EPA, from the Labor Department, from the Congress, from everybody.
The infamous,
and now suddenly you've got to have a rational basis for regulations. This is opening up a whole new can of worms.
The infamous risk of a risk. There's a risk of a risk, Roger, and we have to...
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
And now, apparently, since you can't do it in abortion, what's Breyer going to do when, the next environmental suit comes up with statistics showing that there's no problem?
That's a great point. That is you're 100% right. This is crazy.
For example, a farmer's got a pond, and now the EPA wants to make it a navigable waterway of the United States, therefore under federal jurisdiction.
Sure.
The farmer comes up to the Supreme Court and says, wait a minute, my pond, a couple of catfish, and my cattle love it. Other than that, I don't really see a problem. What's Breyer going to do then?
Well, he'll find some other, you know what he'll do? He'll go and he'll read some Walt Whitman and some E.E. Cummings, and he'll find some, witty quote that he can use to justify it.
In other words, he's a liberal.
Of course he is. Let me go to the height of liberal elitism, Raj, because it's something you and I love to look at. And it's this. So at the end of last week, the left was breathless because allegedly there was this petition that was making the rounds to re-vote in the Brexit. They wanted to redo it, and it got 2 million votes over, up until the weekend when it was discovered that it was a phony petition put forth by some 4chan hucksters who really just made a lot of people angry. Well, the Washington Post, amid this frenzy of regret over Brexit, came out with this piece today that basically speaks to the issue that Brexit is a reminder that some things just shouldn't be decided by the people, Roger. The people don't understand these complicated concepts. Is that the height of insult as far as you can say?
Well, yes, and it's also the height of hypocrisy. These are, quote, Democrats, are they not, who are now saying, well, some things just shouldn't be decided by democracy. We know better what's good for you.
Yes.
Well, then you got to change the name of your party to hypocrites. I don't get it. And this piece, by the way, I've read this several times because it had a tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is Emily Badger this morning in the Washington Post. And to support her contention that some things just should not be the subject of the people getting involved because it's only the elites who actually know how to run this stuff. She cites as her example of how things have gone wrong the 1978 referendum here in California on property taxes.
Yes.
And she says, see, here's an example where it should never have gone to the voters. She says back in 78, California voters generously decided in a ballot measure to cap their own property taxes in a way, amending the state constitution, that has hobbled, now get this language, hobbled ever since California's ability to generate revenue and create reasonable housing policy. Automatically, Emily went on my hate list because...
you remember that fight.
I remember that fight. California upped every other tax to the point where we're one of the most taxed states in the union, and we don't have enough revenue. The budget for next year in the state of California is $167 billion. The entire federal budget, the entire federal government budget, everything in 1964 was $98 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Now the state of California has $167 billion, and the problem is we haven't generated enough revenue.
Right.
I suggest that's not the problem, Emily.
But Roger, if left to our own devices, we'll decide things.
and then the elite